What if the most beautiful voices in R&B history were silenced not by time, but by the desperate pursuit of physical perfection? Behind the glittering awards and platinum albums lay a darker truth. Legendary singers who paid the ultimate price for conforming to an industry's impossible standards. These women possessed voices that could move mountains, yet they felt compelled to alter their faces, their bodies, their very essence to remain relevant. From Motown's golden era to the modern stage, 11 extraordinary talents made choices that would ultimately cost them everything. Their stories reveal not just personal tragedy, but a system that values image over artistry, perfection over humanity. If you're ready to uncover the heartbreaking truth behind some of music's most devastating losses, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because these voices deserve to be remembered for more than just their beauty. Tammy Terrell, the Motown Angel's fatal flaw. Tammy Terrell's voice floated like silk through classics like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, making her Motown's golden girl alongside Marvin Gaye. Born Thomasina Montgomery in 1945, she possessed everything the industry claimed to want: stunning looks, incredible talent, and magnetic stage presence. In 1967, Berry Gordy allegedly told Tammy her nose was too flat for mainstream magazine covers. The comment shattered her confidence. Desperate to elevate her career, she quietly scheduled rhinoplasty at a Detroit clinic. The operation became a nightmare. Tammy regained consciousness mid-surgery due to inadequate anesthesia, suffering physical and emotional trauma. She experienced severe headaches, blackouts, and chronic fatigue. When she collapsed on stage in Virginia during October 1969, doctors discovered a malignant brain tumor and chronic inflammation around her sinus cavity, directly linked to the botched surgery. Tammy died March 16, 1970, at just 24. Nurses found a broken compact mirror in her gown, its glass missing, a haunting symbol of her shattered self-image. Lisa Left Eye, Lopes, the fire that burned out. Lisa Lopes blazed through the 1990s as TLC's creative force, her signature eye markings and fierce lyrics redefining what it meant to be a black woman in R&B. Behind the bold exterior, Left Eye carried invisible burdens that would prove fatal. Preparing for her 2001 solo album, Supernova, Lisa felt exposed without her groupmates, T-Boz and Chili. Industry whispers about her thin frame, angular features, and darker complexion gnawed at her confidence. Seeking to elevate her image, she quietly underwent breast augmentation at a Santa Monica clinic. The aftermath was brutal. The surgical site became infected, oozing fluid nightly while her assistant performed painful dressing changes. Despite this, Lisa pushed forward, smiling through press appearances while secretly unraveling. Her energy waned. She began spacing out mid-sentence, complaining of stabbing chest pains and relying heavily on painkillers. On April 25, 2002, while driving in Honduras, Lisa lost control of her SUV. Dashcam footage showed her eyes drooping, grip loosening. The car flipped, killing her instantly at age 30. The autopsy found only exhaustion and infection. Aaliyah, the princess who paid the price. Aaliyah. Dana Houghton redefined R&B elegance with her soft voice and effortless grace. At 21, she had conquered music and film, preparing for her breakthrough role in Queen of the Damned. Yet even a princess faced Hollywood's cruel expectations. In mid-2000, following quiet pressure from a film studio that deemed her not cinematic enough for the vampire queen role, Aaliyah underwent private rhinoplasty and facial tightening in New York. The procedure remained undocumented by media, but its effects were devastating. After surgery, Aaliyah showed signs of physical depletion, insomnia, pale complexion, and unexplained fatigue. By summer 2001, while filming Rock the Boat in the Bahamas, she needed painkillers each morning just to complete choreography. Her team noticed her unusually low energy but attributed it to travel stress. On August 25, 2001, she boarded an overloaded plane that crashed after takeoff, killing all 9 aboard. Though officially blamed on weight imbalance, sources believed her weakened condition may have contributed to her silence in those final moments. She was just 22. Minnie Riperton, the Angel's Hidden Struggles. Minnie Riperton's 5-octave range and signature whistle register made Loving You an eternal masterpiece. Born in Chicago in 1947, she was known for her natural hair, soulful lyrics, and ethereal performances. Yet even she wasn't immune to beauty pressures that plagued Black female artists. Though her official cause of death was metastatic breast cancer, industry associates have speculated that prior to her 1976 diagnosis, Minnie underwent experimental treatments and unregulated procedures in a desperate bid to maintain her appearance and career. These claims remain unverified, but reflect a brutal truth. Many women felt forced to take extreme measures just to stay visible. After her diagnosis, Minnie continued performing, even appearing with a bald head, one of the first major stars to do so publicly when cancer carried heavy stigma. Her bravery broke taboos, but few knew the pain she endured behind the scenes. She passed away July 12, 1979, at 31 in Los Angeles. The truth of what she may have endured cosmetically was buried with her, leaving only questions about systemic burdens. Vesta Williams, the voice broken by cruel words. Vesta Williams commanded 1980s R&B with her dynamic range and emotional delivery. Songs like Congratulations and Sweet Sweet Love showcased her powerful presence. But behind the confident exterior lived a woman grappling with self-doubt, tragically amplified by a single cruel remark. In 1990, during a seemingly stable romance with a high-profile producer, Vesta believed she'd found security. They walked red carpets as an industry power couple. But after a party, he whispered something that shattered her. "You'd be perfect if your nose were smaller and your cheeks a little fuller." That casual sentence ignited a spiral of self-doubt. Desperate to meet his imagined ideal, Vesta underwent facial surgery, nose refinement, and cheek enhancement that left her visibly altered. Following surgery, she suffered chronic pain, fatigue, and lingering infections that drained her vitality. Worse, the man she'd tried to change for left without explanation. Despite the emotional and physical toll, she continued performing, publicly advocating body positivity while privately battling deep sadness. Her 2011 death at 53 was ruled accidental overdose. She was found alone, surrounded by unfinished music. Betty Wright, the cleanup woman's dirty secret. Betty Wright burst onto R&B with Clean Up Woman at just 18, becoming an instant icon for her soulful interpretations and empowering message. But as Motown's aesthetic shifted toward Eurocentric beauty ideals, she felt increasingly out of place. In 1975, a TV director called her nose a burden, despite her chart success and cultural influence. Wanting to secure national television exposure, Betty underwent rhinoplasty at a Miami clinic, recommended by record executives. The procedure was performed by an underqualified physician. In weeks following surgery, Betty developed severe infection. She kept her illness hidden, telling friends it was just flu. But her health began a long decline. Stamina dropped, dizzy spells increased, and tour dates were shortened or canceled. She never revealed the truth, afraid the industry might deem her too fragile. Though she continued performing and mentoring rising stars, her body bore the hidden cost. Years later, complications from that infection were believed to have weakened her system. She passed away in 2020 at 66, having paid a steep price just to be seen. Etta James. The last song's hidden cost. Etta James commanded stages with raw power through classics like At Last and I'd Rather Go Blind. Her voice could silence rooms, but her life was shaped by battles far beyond addiction, including the physical cost of reclaiming her place in a beauty-obsessed industry. By the late 1970s, Etta was fighting for comeback after years of struggles. Critics were harsh, the industry colder, cameras unforgiving. Determined to return with a reinvented image, she quietly scheduled liposuction at a small Los Angeles clinic in April 1980. Off the grid, no high-profile surgeons, no media leaks. The operation lasted longer than anticipated. Though advised overnight monitoring, Etta left after 8 hours, stating, "I've got to be on stage next week." She appeared notably slimmer at a fundraising gala, wearing a corset to conceal unhealed stitches. Privately, recovery was grueling. Fevers, fatigue, and internal inflammation became normal. Her immune system, already compromised, deteriorated further. In 2009, she was diagnosed with leukemia and dementia. Doctors noted prior surgical complications likely contributed to her inability to respond to treatment. Etta died January 20th, 2012, at 73. Florence Ballard, the Supreme Sacrifice. Florence Ballard was the Supreme's original heartbeat, co-founding the group and giving it its name. Her gospel-infused voice helped launch Motown into mainstream fame. But as Diana Ross rose to center stage, Florence was pushed into shadows, becoming a cautionary tale of talent not being enough. After dismissal from the Supremes in 1967, Florence returned to Detroit. During a domestic dispute that July, her husband struck her face, breaking her nose and leaving visible swelling. That injury became symbolic of damage inflicted on a woman once destined for greatness. In August 1975, hoping for comeback, Florence underwent nasal surgery in Detroit. Motown insiders whispered that if she could fix her face, she might be welcomed back. It was never a promise, only suggestion. Desperate for second chances, she clung to it. The operation left her refined, but brought no renewed fame. No contract arrived, no doors reopened. Depression took hold, finances worsened, and alcohol became her coping mechanism. On February 22, 1976, Florence died from heart failure at just 32, living far from former glamour. Syreeta Wright, the gentle soul's silent scream. Syreeta Wright was a soft-spoken, deeply spiritual artist with a gift for emotionally resonant music. A frequent collaborator and brief wife of Stevie Wonder, she penned classics like Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and delivered tender vocals on duets including With You, I'm Born Again. In the mid-1990s, preparing for a televised reunion with Stevie Wonder, now in her early 40s and mother of 3, Syreeta struggled with post-pregnancy body image. During a costume fitting, a blunt stylist remarked her figure wasn't ideal for camera close-ups. That comment deeply affected her. Rather than protest, she internalized the critique and quietly scheduled cosmetic surgery, liposuction and tummy tuck on March 21, 1995, at a private Los Angeles clinic. The operation seemed routine, but days later brought unusual bruising and persistent fever, early infection signs. Her energy never fully returned. Several months later, she was diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer. By then, her body was too weak for chemotherapy. Doctors privately admitted post-surgical infection may have compromised her fighting ability. Syreeta died July 6, 2004, at 58. These 11 stories reveal a devastating pattern extending far beyond individual tragedy. Each death represented not just the loss of extraordinary talent, but the cruel mathematics of an industry that forced its brightest stars to choose between authenticity and survival. Particularly brutal for Black women facing both racial and gender-based beauty standards. Some, like Vesta Williams and Florence Ballard, were broken by cruel words that convinced them their natural selves weren't worthy. Others, including Aaliyah and Tammy Terrell, succumbed to industry pressure demanding physical transformation for career advancement. The most heartbreaking were those like Syreeta Wright and Whitney Houston, gentle souls who altered themselves for fleeting spotlight moments. Perhaps most tragic is that these women possessed voices capable of moving souls, yet felt their natural beauty wasn't enough. Society lost not just 11 remarkable artists, but countless contributions they might have made had they been allowed to exist authentically. Their legacy teaches us that talent transcends prejudice, authenticity outlasts trends, and true beauty lies in courage to remain unchanged. If these stories moved you, subscribe to ensure their memories continue reaching new audiences. Share this video with others who believe every voice deserves to be heard and remembered with dignity.